John Disterdick. We're here at the inaugural Memorial Day run at Trinity College here in near Tampa, Florida. So it's just one of the many tens of thousands of running races around the country, and we're going to be interviewing people about running and what it's meant to their health and fitness and their quality of life and what their belief systems are. So stay tuned.
There are pretty incredible benefits from running, both from a physical standpoint and psychological benefits. There was over 55,000 adults between ages 18 and 100 that went into a study that showed that up to 45% less risk of dying from cardiovascular disease, and they had 3 additional years of life expectancy. And the psychological benefits come from endorphins. They call it, the runner's high. But there's just a lot of benefits. Improves the brain activity. It's pretty incredible in today's situation with all the mental problems that are going on. It increases the biogenesis of mitochondria in the brain cells. I don't know if any of you understand that stuff, but you can avoid depression. That's a big one in today's lifestyles. It helps prevent cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate, lung cancer. It can increase the survival rate of people who already have cancer. So that's another big one. We have to avoid arthritis. It's significant impact on the knees and joints when you run. Of course, I've experienced that, having bone on bone, and had both my knees replaced. But people who run usually have less risk of suffering from these conditions, and that was done with some 75,000 runners, so it's a pretty big study. It reduces the risk of osteoporosis. Millions of people get that around the world, and it shows that this helps increase the bone mineral density, which is avoid the lack of calcium.
How'd it feel?
It's always tough, but all the toxins are running through your system. Get rid of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And just thank the Lord I still do this stuff. 5K, around 30 minutes. I actually did one when I was 40 at 15:24.
Okay.
About double what I did 40 years ago.
Hey, you're doing it.
Anyway, we're here in, where are we?
We're
Trinity
here
College.
at Trinity College. Yeah. In Florida.
Near Tampa. We got some really great stories.
Yeah, we do.
Stay tuned and learn, get motivated, and get involved with something.
That's right.
Well, we're here with Bill Jenkins. We're at this, I think it's the inaugural 5K race at Trinity College outside of Tampa.
Pretty much,
not too far. And just talking to people about different events they've done, athletics, what it's meant to health and fitness, their belief system, and you got an interesting story with your arm. Why don't you tell us what happened and just a little bit about your own life.
Yeah, I guess I'll start from now and move back and trace backwards. This is a sling that has my arm immobilized because I had a pacemaker installed a week ago Friday. I'd gone into the hospital to check on a pain I was having in my one kidney. Thought I had COVID. I know that the kidney does not very well adjust to kidney stuff or COVID stuff, so wanted to get that checked out. And ended up being, they asked me about dizziness. I experienced a little bit of dizziness. Put me on an EKG, immediately brought the crash cart in, slapped on the defibrillator pads that they stick onto you, and the crash cart was my roommate for my 10 days in the hospital. They were worried that at any point it was going to stop, the heart was going to stop. as a result of being a distance runner for 40 years. It doesn't happen to every runner, but it does happen to some. My heart was beating too slow for too long. So my heart rate was in the 20s, actually had 6 times where it paused or stopped while I was in the hospital.
Is that because your heart gets so big from running?
Basically so strong that it can push as much blood in one push as a normal person in 3 pushes.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of got used to beating too slow, and there's a thing called a P rhythm or a P wave that just stopped happening. I guess God decided that my heart was fine where it was at. I asked the doctor if he hadn't put the pacemaker in, what would have been the result, and he said, you probably would have just gone to sleep and not woken up, which I then told him that, well, I would have woken up, and I was hoping to hear the words, "Good, well done, thy good and faithful servant."
Yeah.
So
right.
I definitely would have woken up, but so that happened, and 5 years prior to that, the reason I only have 1 kidney was I was able to donate a kidney for my mom, which people say, "Oh, that's so great." I think anybody would do that for a family member. So I was able to do that. 18 years ago, I would never have been able to donate anything to anybody. They wouldn't have wanted a toenail off of me because of my alcohol addiction. I'm going on 18 years sober, and grew up as the last kid picked for recess for PE. Couldn't play any sport. Was skinny. We played the clarinet. Was a bookworm. Definitely not athletic. Until my sophomore year in high school, the cross country coach said, cross country is a sport for the kid that can't do anything else. My hand shot up. By senior year, I'm signing a scholarship to run track for the University of Alabama. Was pre-med, had everything going for me, and there was a hole in my heart that eventually was filled with the right spirit, capital S, but I thought that spirit, little s, in the form of alcohol was what was going to give my life at least a temporary break from reality. And of course, as that progressed, as with any addiction, my drug of choice was more. I had to have more, and it got so bad to where I ended up homeless in the woods in upstate New York after a suicide attempt. The Lord was there all along the way, but He gave me enough rope to hang myself, as it were. I didn't hang myself, but figuratively speaking. And 18 years ago, I basically just said a basic prayer. I don't know who you are, but if you're out there, I'm obviously not doing a very good job with this life. And over the next 2 years, He showed me who He was and gave me His name and told me about His Son. And now,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, the Lord has really given me great opportunities in continuing on my running and my coaching, able to coach high school. Really given me a platform. I'm on staff with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I get to share my testimony and hopefully be an influence on youngsters that were where I was at the age of 15, 16, looking for that real answer in life, looking for an identity. My identity was in running for so long, and when everything else was gone and I was stripped of any humanity, the real identity came to surface, and that was in Jesus Christ. So I'm thankful that God did what He did.
Yeah. And has it, of course, it's impacted your health and fitness because of, what you've been able to do. And it's impacted others because of your positions to be able to influence other people. And what's your family's situation?
Well, my mom, that's an interesting story as well. A year after the kidney transplant, she was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer.
Oh, gosh.
She went through chemo, and she had about 18 months cancer-free until the cancer came back, and she passed in July of last year. Cancer metastasized in her brain. It was very quick. But because of my involvement with my church family, I was able to get her involved with some ladies her age. She grew up in East Germany during the war, so she survived Hitler and almost survived the cancer. But I was able to get her involved with some of the ladies her age in my church family, and I have the assurance of knowing that she did accept Jesus as her Savior. So I know for certain that I get to see her again. So, it's sad to not be able to pick up the phone and talk to her. She called me every morning at 8 o'clock, but I know that there's reunion, and I know when I do rest my head and I don't open my eyes in this world, I'll know that I'll get to see her again. My dad's still alive. My dad is not a believer. He is a very militant atheist, and he's not doing well at his age right now as a widow, and his health is not doing well, and I'm seeing him begin to soften a little to the way of life that has become who I am. He understands that I couldn't have quit drinking without that help from the Lord, and so I'm seeing little chinks in that atheist armor.
Yeah.
But as far as my health goes, I mean, with my heart the way that it was before it decided that it wanted to get too strong for its own good, that it's I would always last the longest when it came to playing with the kids, or being able to get out there and run with my high school teams. Not all coaches can say that, but it was a blessing to be able to get out there and run with them. My general health is good. Obviously, I was able to donate that kidney, and that wouldn't have been the case if I hadn't gotten sober.
And so you coach now?
I coach at Gaither High School in Tampa, Florida, boys and girls cross country and track.
Great.
And am part owner of a timing company, TRC Race Management.
Okay.
But most importantly, I'm area director for North Tampa with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, one of the last Christian organizations to be able to get in freely to public schools, which our public schools are a very, very dark place. Satan is alive and well and dancing through the halls of public schools.
Isn't that a shame?
There's definitely a need. If you're watching this and you want to know a good way to get involved, to really share the gospel with those that are really in need, the public school system is allowing a lot of things that want to push God out of the picture. So I would encourage you to find your local FCA chapter and see what you can do to help. Volunteer, go to the schools. If you played a sport when you were in high school and you want to be part of a baseball team or a football team and be a chaplain, or just go and love on the kids and show them the love of Christ, then I would encourage you to do so.
Wow. What would you say to people that are watching this that, they're intimidated, scared, or just think it's past their time or whatever, to just get involved in something that would help their health and fitness, of course, physical life, but of course we both know more importantly is their spiritual life. But what are the things you might recommend for them?
Well, there is a lot of fear involved. I know there was a lot of first-time runners at the race today, and their goal was just to finish. But the fact that they were out here towing the line, I think that they won that battle. It absolutely will make your body feel better. Running, which was my sport, but it really with any athletic event, it can be therapeutic. Physically, when you exercise, the body produces certain chemicals, serotonins, and it increases your neurotransmitters, and I don't want to get into all that, but it can make your body feel better, and it can make your mind feel better. Definitely the spiritual side of things is there, and it's a great my favorite coaching is when I'm coaching. I love all the kids that I coach. When I'm coaching a kid that I know is a believer and I can share with him, there's a great line from the movie Chariots of Fire that Eric Little, who is a missionary, he said, the Lord made me fast, and when I run fast I can feel him. And to be able to share that with my runners that are also believers, to really be able to tie into their Christian beliefs when they're out there running. But I don't think there's an age that you can't be out there. We had in the biggest age division in the men's of this race was the 75 and over. We had the most finishers in that age division. So, obviously get it checked out with your doctor first, but getting out there and walking, and then walking and running, and then running and walking, and then running. It's great therapy, great for the body. I don't think it's as bad as some people say on the knees and the back. A lot of people are like, that's the worst thing you should be is running, but I don't think the science backs that up. So I'm glad that I became a runner, because I know I can run until my heart stops. And whether that was last week or whether that's going to be a year from now, I know that I can get out there and, I just lost 40 pounds. I lost another 10 pounds in the hospital. And I lost that weight because I wanted to get back out there, and that was a motivation that I needed, because I wanted to get back out there. And
have you got any race coming?
No, I had the misfortune of being a pretty good collegiate runner, and I won a lot of road races, and that mentality is still in my head. So I've got to get past that and really get out there and enjoy running the races instead of getting out there thinking I've got to run fast. I still have to come to grips with this is 55, this is still 22.
Yeah, I hear you. When I was I think just 40, I did a 15:27 5K.
Okay, so you know,
and now
at 40,
yeah, it was almost just to turn 40.
American record.
Now
pace.
I'm getting 40 years later. It was one guy with me the whole race. It was in Boston, and now I'm happy to run a 9, close to 10-minute pace.
Yeah, but you're still doing it.
Still doing
I mean, you're an inspiration to me. You've been a runner all your life. You ran at that high level, and you're still out here doing it.
Yeah.
So,
well, we appreciate your story, and I think a lot of others that are contemplating getting involved will do the same thing.
good, great. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. We want to thank you for watching RedefiningAging.us. I'm John Disterdick, your host. And our goal for the series is pretty simple. We just want to enhance the quality of people's lives. So if you know of an event that you think would be one for good for us to cover, please fill out the form on our website, and not only the event and what it is, where it is, when it is, and if there's a person you know that you think would be a good person for us to do a testimony on in some event, please let us know. And if you want a fuller description of my testimony, you can either go to johndisterdick.com and look under ministry, or you can go here at redefiningaging.us. We appreciate your viewership. God bless, and hope to see you on more shows.